The House meets this Saturday to respond to a situation of great gravity. We are here because for the first time for many years, British sovereign territory has been invaded by a foreign power. After several days of rising tension in our relations with Argentina, that country's armed forces attacked the Falkland Islands yesterday and established military control of the islands. The government has now decided that a large task force will sail as soon as all preparations are complete. HMS Invincible will be in the lead and will leave port on Monday.
Hello everyone, this is Showtime 112. The South Atlantic map is finally here. The assets pack is still missing, which limits our options for the 1982 war scenarios, but hopefully it'll get released soon as well. On 1st of May 1982, UK launched its first airstrikes against Argentine forces on the islands known as the Falklands or Malvinas. The more famous of these strikes is known as Black Buck Raid, and it was flown by a heavily supported Vulcan bomber. This was at the time the longest airstrike ever performed. Its effect was more psychological, making only a single crater on the runway. A less known airstrike followed soon after that, and it included 12 Sea Harriers from HMS Hermes. 9 of them attacked the airport at Port Stanley, while 3 attacked the airstrip at Goose Green. This might be a good time to say that the version of Harrier we use here is not the correct one. This is the AV-8B. We don't have the Sea Harrier in DCS, and it seems we are unlikely to have it due to the still classified nature of the type's radar. If that bothers you, please don't watch. The Harrier attacks were considered risky, and the attackers expected to lose up to 3 aircraft. The Hornet's nest had been CERNed by the Vulcan raid, but apparently the potential of closing down Port Stanley was considered worthy of the risk. HMS Hermes approached within about 100 miles of the Falklands and launched its 12 Sea Harriers. HMS Invincible launched 6 more, whose task was combat air patrol. 9 Sea Harriers were approaching Port Stanley from the north. 4 of them were tasked with loft bombing Argentine anti-aircraft positions. They were to approach within 3 miles and then pull up, release the 1,000-pound bombs, and quickly return to low altitude. The next group to attack consisted of 2 Sea Harriers armed with cluster bombs, and it was led by the squadron commander, Andy Auld. They were to attack from northeast. Third group, consisting of 3 Harriers, was to follow from northwest. 2 of them carried cluster bombs, and their targets were airport buildings and parked aircraft. The third Harrier carried 1,000-pound bombs, and its target was the runway. Groups were supposed to attack within 1-minute intervals to avoid damage from other sections' bombs. To be extra safe, the loft bombing section leader was to call "bombs gone" over the radio once their attack was complete.
Aproximadamente se encuentra el aeropuerto. Estaría en llamas en este momento. Ahí se ve el avión atacante. Pasa, se pierde hacia la derecha.
The leader of the northeast section, Andy Auld, apparently never heard the "bombs gone" call, so he made a tight right-hand orbit over the Berkeley Sound. This was a pre-arranged maneuver whose purpose was to ensure additional separation from the loft attack. Old's wingman, Dave Morgan, now realized his would be the last aircraft over the target. This was considered one of the most dangerous positions to be in. The northwest section, led by Lieutenant Commander Mike Blissett, saw smoke columns from the loft attack, and then anti-aircraft fire coming towards them. Blissett did a hard jink to the left, then the same to the right, after which he pulled to 170 feet and released his cluster bombs on the airport buildings.
¡Otro avión más! Siguen las explosiones en el aeropuerto que podrían ser originadas, además de las bombas, por los combustibles que explotan. Misiles nuestros se dirigen en busca del avión enemigo.
We are now flying with Dave Morgan. On his approach, he witnessed smoke, anti-aircraft fire, and missiles being fired at the first two groups. The only aircraft which seemed undamaged was a small civilian one, so he aimed at it. At the moment of bomb release, he saw a big explosion and his aircraft started to shudder. Morgan dove for the smoke and then turned west. The smaller attack on Goose Green airstrip apparently achieved a total surprise with Argentine defenses. After the Vulcan raid, their Pucara light attack airplanes stationed at Goose Green were being transferred to the airfield on Pebble Islands, but one of them got stuck in the mud, delaying the operation. Two Harriers dropped cluster bombs in a low-level pass, destroying one Argentine Pucara that was being ready for takeoff. The pilot, Lieutenant Daniel Jukic, and 8 ground crew were killed, while another 13 were injured. Dave Morgan, whose aircraft was hit during the Port Stanley attack, was now in full control of it, even though he still fell shuddering. His horizontal stabilator was apparently hit, and there was a big hole in it. He nevertheless managed to land back to HMS Hermes. This was the only damage caused to the attackers according to British sources. Some Argentine sources claimed that between 2 and 4 aircraft were shot down by guns and surface-to-air missiles, but I couldn't find details about those claims. Can the raid be considered a success? Yes and no. Certain damage was caused. At least one Argentine aircraft was destroyed with several others damaged. But the primary objective of putting Port Stanley Airport out of action was not achieved. Even though Argentina never deployed any of its fast jets to the islands, this was probably more due to shortness of Port Stanley's runway. If you liked the video, be sure to press the like button. join our Discord server, support the channel on Patreon, and keep watching Showtime 112.